I'm a semi-professional coach, and I like to think I know what I'm talking about here, and here's a Season 12 tier list at the very top end of play. First up is Juno. She's going into B- tier. You can see here, like, Aspen got 73% win rate on Juno and got to Champ 5. However, it's a bit disingenuous because it says 11 hours here. I'm not sure if that's clear. But the majority of Aspen's playtime on Juno was actually just in lower GM, and she barely plays the hero in high level play, like beyond the mid to high GM. She barely plays the hero, especially if they're running something like a Tracer. And you can see the creeping up of Lucio playtime as well. So Juno is playable at high level play, but a lot of things need to go right, and there's very few cases where she's the optimal pick. We'll get into that a little bit later if we talk about Lucio, but yeah, she's going in B- tier for now. Okay, next up is D.Va. I mean, Samito put D.Va in S tier. I think it's fair to put D.Va in S tier. In pro play, she's not played all the time, but the important thing is, like, on brawl maps like Lijiang and to some extent some push maps like Munasapi, D.Va's being played a lot. Like, she's eating up a ton of the playtime, and obviously in ranks she's still very good. So I maybe put her in A+ tier as we go on. I think Winston's a bit better in pro play, to be honest, but yeah, it's between these two ranks. So don't scream at me in the comments if you think she's A+. I would partially agree with that. Doom's going in B- as well. Yeah, Bull, D.Va, again, complete mainstays. Winston, D.Va there. Let's go on this map here. D.Va, Bull, like, it's very rarely that you're gonna see Doomfist being played. Reinhardt, Ramattra there, so like, he hasn't really got a place to shine, you know? Like, Doomfist has got a win condition in terms of his punch being super strong, but other than that, he's got no armor, he's super easy to punish after he's used his cooldowns. All the other dive tanks in the game have way more sustain than Doomfist and are generally safer to play. So that's why he's staying in B- tier. He's not awful, still pretty good in ranked. Junkerqueen B tier. Again, I'm not going to pull up pro play stream here, but I did see a little bit of her being played on Blizzard World. She's decent into dive on some maps, but yeah, like, I don't really know what to say with the character. Other tanks are just better, especially D.Va, Ramattra, Sigma, Winston, those kind of tanks. And the big elephant in the room is that she hasn't got any armor, so there's that. Mauga, also going in B tier. He's actually like B+ or A tier in pro play, but he's pretty bad in ranked because you need your team to play around what you're doing. So averaging out those two, he's about B tier. Again, I'll pull up a pro play example here. On Lijiang Control Center, he's pretty much played by at least one of the teams here. So yeah, you see Ice Nom on X Oblivion. He's playing the Mauga here. He's still going to get playtime in pro play. He's still got his strengths, but in ranked, he's pretty bad. He's like here or here. Okay, next up is Orisa. She's going in C tier. Now, she did get buffed. I believe it was her Javelin that got a damage increase, but apart from that, like, she's still not great. Her cooldown cycles are a bit too slow, but I will say do beware of the power creep that comes with Orisa, because she's been slowly getting buffs over time. She could instantly shoot up to meta at any moment, especially if the other tanks get nerfed. And she does benefit from the armor change as well, so she's not terrible. She could even go B- if I really wanted to, but it's just that the other tanks are better. Zarya is very easy to play into Orisa, especially now that she's pretty good as well. We'll get onto her later, but yeah, Orisa going in C tier. Next up is Ramattra. He's going in A tier. Again, Brawl Mirrors, super strong, good into Ryan, even good into Mauga in some cases, because if you live that cardiac overdrive cycle, it's actually pretty easy to play the Ram into the Mauga, and if he's beaming you, like if he's shooting your block, he's getting no cardiac overdrive. It's pretty much pointless, so I don't think he's that bad into Mauga, and he's also very versatile into the other tanks too, so Solidator, not too much to say. Next up is Ryan. Ryan kind of links back onto Ramattra in that, why would you play Ryan over the Ram? I guess if you're playing into like dive and you're trying to block on a nade, that might be a point of contention because the shield can be really strong. But Ram just kind of runs over the Reinhardt most of the time. More versatile as well. Yeah, I prefer the Ram over the Ryan most of the time. You can see LH Cloudy playing the Reinhardt here, like, he's good and he's good for that team, but obviously not the ideal pick most of the time. Roadhog, he's going in C tier, and actually, just now, so just today, what's their name? Oh yeah, they were playing, Isaac was playing Roadhog against SSG. Oh yeah, did put up a fight against SSG, one of the best teams in Europe, on the Roadhog. So in that situation, he can be pretty good, but if you're not a one-trick team, if you're not a stylistic team, he just gets run over by every tank. Like Orisa, even literally every tank above him right now can beat the Hog pretty comfortably. he's a very ranked sort of dependent hero, and even then, I still think Mauga D.Va kind of eats him up. Sigma, he's going A+ tier, very versatile, super versatile, probably the best brawl tank or the best ground tank in the game at the moment. Again, D.Va beats him on more vertical maps as well as the Winston, but if you're talking about more generally, like on the flatter maps, he's probably one of the best picks. It's mainly his ability to mark off-angle DPS that other tanks can't really do. Like, his shield and his range is super strong, and he's also got great self-sustain, even though he hasn't got any armor because of his kinetic grasp. So, and he's got a great ultimate as well. Like, there's so many things going for Sigma here. So yeah, A+ tier. Okay, next up is Winston. Honestly, he kind of should be S tier in pro play, but I know he's not that popular in ranked, so he's getting knocked down to A+, but in Asia, he's obviously super popular. He's here for a reason, so I don't think it's too controversial to put Winston this high, but yeah, moving on. Next up is Bull. He's going in B+, maybe A tier I'll put him A tier. I put B+ in my script. I think the reason why I did that is because a lot of players, especially in ranked, don't know how to play Bull, not just that, but they also don't know how to play with a Bull. Strider's playing Bull on Citrus Nightmare, but the issue is, ranked, he's just not getting touched, because people don't like playing with Bull, so take that as you will. Zarya, I initially put Zarya in B-, but she might go up to B, though. I'm not sure, but I'm going to put a B-. The issue with Zarya is, as it's always been, it's super easy to counter the Zarya. She's got two main counters, being this guy on the Winston, dive comps, you'll see this in pro play all the time. Whenever a pro team goes to Zarya, the other team will almost always counter swap to the Winston comp, or teams will just play Reinhardt or Sigma plus a Mei, and they'll just run over the Zarya, because she's got no armor, she's super squishy, and you can burst the bubbles pretty easily. So those are the big downsides with Zarya, but with that being said, on flatter maps where D.Va's being played, some teams have played Zarya into the D.Va for obvious reasons, because the beam goes through defense matrix obviously, but she can juggle aggression really well with a Venture, with a Genji, even to a Reba to a lesser extent, so definitely has a place. I think she's more than situational because of the matchups that she has, but yeah, obviously not a mainstay pick. Next up is Ashe. I'm gonna put her in A+. Symmetra put her in S tier. I can agree with that, to be honest, but again, on some maps like Lijiang Control Center, in some cases where you want that Cassidy in that dive matchup, Ashe is not going to be great. You know, Ashe thrives on vertical, long-range maps like in Umbani, for example. Blizzard World is a good case, but other than that, like, you really want my Cassidy, to be honest. Basically, as Symmetra said in his video, Bob gets a 25% HP increase because of that tank passive where he gets the headshot reduction, so yeah, she's pretty strong, obviously. And next up is Bastion. He's going in D tier, sadly. I can't even think of a single situation where Bastion is the most viable pick. Like, I think against Ryan comps, Bastion's got his place, but it's just it's so tough to run Bastion. Like, there's so many things going against Bastion at the moment. He's super immobile. He's bad into armor because of the armor change. He does less damage now with that patch. His cooldown cycles are super long because of the cooldown. I think it needs a 2-second reduction, to be honest. In low level play, he's pretty good. Obviously, people don't de-peak the turret form, but in higher level play, in both ranked and team play, he's just ass if you're playing him, to be honest. Next up is Cassidy. He might go B+ tier, it might depend later. I think the High Noon change is actually pretty good, but the difference or the issue is the range on Cassidy. Again, he's great on your Lijiang control centers, on your Runa Sar piece, he's pretty good actually. What other maps I'm thinking of? Colosseo, he's okay. What else? King's Row, he's pretty good. But yeah, any flat map that hasn't got too much verticality to it, he's pretty much the de facto pick. But even then, Ashe is still being picked over there because the flat maps are so few and far between. Like, even on King's Row, you still have High Ground to play around. So, again, great on short maps, mediocre elsewhere. Next up is Echo. She might actually get bumped down to B+ when I remake the tier list or when I change places, but overall for now, the HP buff or the HP nerf is noticeable, but she's still very versatile, got a great ultimate, good into the Mauga stuff as per. Yeah, no big issues with Echo at the moment. Next up is Genji. He's going in the B- tier. I think, again, Samito said Genji's best place was B-. I concur with that. I agree with that. I don't think he's that far off the other flex DPS. And I think into poke matchups, like on Circuit Royale, he can actually be pretty strong, especially when marking Widowmakers. But the issue is that it's hard for Genji to be picked over the other DPS at the moment, you know? Most of the time where I've seen Genji being played, it's been with Zarya, who hasn't been played that much. And on Winston comps, you're seeing other dive heroes like Venture, like Tracer, to a lesser extent Sombra, Echo, Ashe, other DPS heroes as well, that are being played over the Genji. Not terrible, obviously, but not the best option either. Hanzo's also going in B- tier. He would have been C tier if the patch didn't come through, but the fact that he can one-shot some heroes now is quite nice, but the HP nerf really not necessary on the hero when so many other DPS are better than this guy. Yeah, he's way too vulnerable to dive, and his ultimate is just non-existent. So yeah, Junkrat's going in C tier. Only map or the only situation where he's great is Lijiang Control Center. That's it. Like, that's pretty much the only situation where Junkrat's like one of the best picks in the game. Aside from that, I mean, maybe Oasis University you could play the guy, but Pharah is just the better Junkrat, to be honest. Mei, she's going in the B tier. She would have gone to B- and maybe even C tier, but the issue is that pro teams are actually playing the Mei quite a bit. I think there are situations where, especially if you're a Mei team, Mei can actually be pretty good. Maybe not the best pick all the time, but definitely very playable. The issue with Mei is that she's based on map, but there are enough maps for Mei to be pretty good at, you know, like Flashpoint she's pretty good at, Clash she's pretty good at, Control maps she's pretty good at. It's really the vertical hybrid maps and the payload maps she really struggles on, but apart from that, I think she's pretty good. Next up is Pharah. I'm going to put her in B+. I think she could go down to B, I think that would be fair, but I've just seen too much of her in pro play, and again, she's got the best aspects of other DPS combined into one. The mobility of Echo, the spam of Junkrat, the dueling capability of Tracer. The issue with Pharah, the reason why she isn't higher, is because of the HP, but barring that, she's still super strong, doesn't need a mercy. Yeah, she's still getting played in pro play. Next up is Reaper. Now, Symmetra, for some reason, put this guy in A tier, and I genuinely don't know why. Maybe he's goated and ranked, maybe he is, I don't know, but in team play, he's just C tier, you know, maybe even D tier. The only situation that I can see Reaper being played is, again, your Lijiang Control Center. That's the only time I've seen Reaper been played. But apart from that, I don't know why you'd play him. Just genuinely don't know why. Next up is Sojourn. Now, on the rework, she did actually, I think she would have been B+. I think either one of these are fine. But again, I just think Ashe is just so much better than Sojourn at the moment. She's fairly balanced. I think she definitely got a much needed buff to her character. The range increase is nice as well, and the charge increase is also nice. But again, it's that one shot that really got her to be the super broken character in the game. But B, I think that's pretty much fair for Sojourn. Next up is Soldier, going straight D tier. He sucks, man. He is doo-doo. Again, Symmetra put him in D tier. I have to concur with Symmetra there. He just has no niche. Like, he's got no strength. You know, like, he's got no CC, he's got no burst damage, he's got no verticality to his kit, his ultimate sucks, in pro play at least. Yeah, there's no reason to play this guy. Sombra, going in B tier. Honestly, I think she might go B-, but I think B tier is like okay. EMP's just too strong, I think. EMP's too strong. She's still good on, again, dive maps. Okay, Sombra, she's going in B- tier. I initially put her in B tier, but initially put her in B tier, but after some more thinking, I think she goes B-. Haven't seen her that much in pro play or even high level ranked. I haven't seen her that much. And the season 12 patch is an overall nerf, I think. But yeah, that's my stance on Sombra. EMP is still super strong. She can still stage super well. It's just that she's got no verticality. Her neutral kick kind of sucks, and she can get punished when she's diving because of the HP nerf. Next one is Symmetra. She's also going in B- tier. The issue with Symmetra is kind of similar to Mei. It's just that she's less viable on less maps. That's it, to be honest. That's the only difference I see. Again, really good when charging that level 3 beam, but elsewhere, other heroes are better. Next up is Torb. He's going in the C tier. The issue with Torb is that if you want to play him into dive, I think Cassidy, you can get away with him. Cassidy still has the HP buff, the roll reduction is still quite nice, and he just does more consistent damage than a Torbjorn. But I think if you're playing on a long-range map into dive, then I think Torb's better. Again, he did get a Season 12 buff, so he might go in B-, but at the highest end of play, I just don't see where you would want to pick Torb a lot over the time compared to his counterparts. For reference, if you're low elo watching this, Torb definitely goes like here or here. But again, I'm not doing that. I'm talking about high-level ranked, high-level pro play. Torb C tier. Okay, Tracer, she's going in A tier. Might go A+ tier, she's still really good to be fair to her. People were asking me what my thoughts on the Tracer hotfix was when she got a damage nerf, and to be honest, I kinda like it. She kinda needs a nerf, guys. Like, she's still super strong. I initially thought Venture was like the main counter to Tracer, and I wasn't wrong. I think she still is, or they still are. But the issue with that is that Venture's not great on a variety of maps. Like Tracer is way more flexible than Venture on more maps, so that's why Tracer's still being played a lot of the time. And as you're seeing in pro play, despite the nerfs, people are still playing Tracer. Like again, just random ass VOD here. Shikigami versus Citrus. Both teams are playing Tracer on Blizzard World. You know, like she's still getting play. There's not much to worry about. Next up is Venture. They're going in the B tier. But again, the main issue is the map. It's again similar case to May, where the only thing limiting them is the map picks, you know? Why would you want to play Venture on Blizzard World? Why play them on Numbani? Why play Venture on Blizzard World second points with the silencer super long, you know? There's no point. Widowmaker, same issue as Venture. I will say in pro play, she's like C tier because she only gets played on Circuit Royale, Havana, Junkertown, those kind of maps. But in ranked, she's going A tier. So averaging those two out, A tier, C tier, she's going B tier overall, including ranked and pro play. Honor, okay. Honor's going in A tier. Honor's going in A tier, and actually, she might go higher. She might go A+. Honor's been played a decent amount. She's been played a lot, and that's mainly in thanks to Monkey, but also some teams like Gaming Gladiators, admittedly, they haven't had much success with it, but they've been playing Honor Lucio, Honor Illari, Honor Brig, obviously, Honor Kiriko, like, Honor can be played with a lot of different supports at the moment. Yeah, saying it now, I think she deserves A+ tier. Super flexible support at the moment. Of course, the only place where she falters is on those brawl maps. That's where she isn't being played, but in ranked, very strong. Pro play, very strong, very flexible. A+ is deserved. Okay, Baptiste going S tier. I mean, I'm not going to spend much time on this one. This should be uncontroversial. He got no nerfs in the Season 12 patch. He's got insane stats. He does everything. I don't need to mention more. Brig, she's going in B+. Okay, another B+ hero, finally evening out the tier list a little bit. Good for Brig on a dive, but she's not a necessity like she was about a year and a half ago during the 2023 Summer Showdown meta. I think in ranked, she's like a B tier, but I think in pro play, she's like A tier. So it's a bit of a balance between the two, but yeah, that's where I think she's staying. Okay, another B+ hero is Illari. Now, she did get a nerf, the damage nerf on the hotfix. Without that, I think she would have gone A tier, maybe A+ tier, but I think B+ is where she should stand now. The thing with Illari is that she's way better in ranked than she is in pro play. Again, Samito put this character in A tier, and I can see why, but in pro play, you're never gonna see Illari. Again, the only time I've seen Illari personally is from that Ana Illari dive that we saw a little bit that didn't even go that well for Gaming Gladiators. So that's why she's staying in B+ tier. Again, super strong in ranked, either A+ or A in ranked, but in pro play, she's kinda in B tier to B-. So again, averaging those out, she goes B+. Next up is Kiriko, A+. Okay, Kiriko's going A+ here, and thank God I had this tier, this middle ground between S and A, because I had no idea where to place Kiriko between S or A tier. And people were shouting at me on my TikTok saying, Kiriko should be S tier, but I don't quite think that, because I think the HP nerf is enough to knock her down a peg, but not enough to go A tier. So A+ tier, I think, is the perfect sweet spot for where she's at. Still really good after the patch. She still needs a TP nerf, please reduce the range on it. Devs, I'm begging. Her kunai somehow got buffed, and she still is super flexible with a ton of backline support, so A+ tier I think is more than deserved. Lifeweaver. I mean, dude, it's between one of these two, you know, and I think comments are gonna shout at me if I put him in D tier, so I'll put him in C tier, okay? I think I did see some pro teams play like, yeah, oh yeah, they did play Lifeweaver, so, oh yeah, they're the only reason why this guy is going in C tier. Thank that team, okay? Because otherwise he would have gone in D tier here. But yeah, like, there's just no reason to play this guy in pro play. He's one of those ranked heroes that are just, oh god, of course, very good in ranked, not good in pro play. Yeah, not much to say. Next up is Lucio, instant S tier. I think the sign of an S tier hero is not just a hero that fits into one comp really well, but can fit a variety of different styles at the highest level of play. And again, we've seen that, right? We've seen Lucio Honor Dive, we've seen Lucio Bap Brawl, we've seen Lucio Kiriko Brawl Dive with Mauga, with Zarya, with Queen, with Ramattra, with Sigma, with Diva, with Winston. Like, we've seen Lucio being played with every tank in the game, you know? Like, He's more than deserving of S tier. Lucio's got a better ultimate than Juno, more sustain, a better speed boost that's more flexible, he can damage and heal at the same time, unlike Juno, and Lucio has way more verticality than Juno, you know? Like, why play Juno is the key thing here. So, again, Lucio is still the dominant main support by far in pro play and in ranked. Next one is Mercy. She's going B-. Again, the only reason, she might even go C tier, to be honest, man. Oh, this is tough. I can't decide between C tier or B-, but Mercy is in one of these tiers. Again, don't shout at me. But again, I think the HP nerf actually hit her pretty hard. She did not need a sustain nerf at all. In fact, she needed the opposite. Again, I don't think, the comments can correct me on this, of course, but I don't think the damage boost change really impacted her breakpoints at all. In ranked, she's like B+ at best, but in pro play, she's like really bad. So it's hard to sort of find an average between the two. Okay, Moira, thankfully Moira is less controversial. I was playing Moira in competitive and that HP nerf hits hard, man. It's so bad. Like, I've legit, half my deaths were just because of the HP nerf. I will be dueling a hero doing that TikTok DPS playstyle and I will die because I got bursted down with melee or some sort of burst damage ability and I didn't have enough HP to survive it. Like, that HP nerf hits like a truck, man. And again, in pro play, there's no reason to play her. Again, similar case to Reaper, the only time I've seen Moira been played in pro play is for those sort of death ball comps on those Lijiang maps. But barring that, I think C tier is pretty fair for Moira here. And to finish it off, Zen, C tier, again, same case as Widowmaker, but even worse, to be honest. Super squishy against flankers, only is going to be played on Havana, Circuit Royale, Junkertown, and that's it. So, not much to say about that. So that's my Season 12 tier list, but as you can see, I've coded up in the top corner here, blue and red, in terms of whether I think they could move up one or down one, so I'll quickly cover that. I think Monkey could move up one, especially in pro play. I think Ana could move down one, more so in ranked and brawl matchups where Baptiste is just better as a flex support. I think Tracer, I've actually moved her from A tier to A+, and I've said that she could move to S tier. Teams are still playing her a bunch, and she's still really good in ranked. In A tier, I put everyone in terms of they could move down. The Echo nerf could maybe have an impact on teams in the future. Maybe ball players aren't that comfortable in some array of maps, or maybe in ranked, he's just not that popular because people don't know how to play him, so he could go down a tier. And Ramattra, the reason why I put him as it could move down one is because of Sigma, D.Va, and the other tanks that are competing for that top 3 spots. Illari could obviously move up one. Again, Symmetra talked about it in his tier list. Definitely very strong in ranked, and could be played on maps like Blizzard World. In beta, Sojourn and Venture I think could move up as well. Where they're strong, where Venture's strong, Venture is really strong, and the Sojourn buffs may be a little bit more understated than I initially give credit for. I think the power side is also a big aspect of her kit that is super strong into dive. So Esperanza I think is a great map for Sojourn, and I think you're going to see more of her there. Juno, I'm giving a bit more time, I'm in a bit more leeway. I think the main issue with Juno is, as many people have said before, she's very balanced, and if you look at the other supports like Baptiste, Ana, Kiriko, they're not balanced. You know, they've got a ton of utility to their kits. Doom can move down one because he's just too squishy and gets run over by the other dive tanks. Reaper can move down one because Genji and Venture are better in that Zarya comp than Reaper is. Torb could move up one depending on map. Lifeweaver could move down one depending on, again, if you're talking about pro play more, and the fact that in ranked, I don't think he's the most optimal pick. And these two guys, they could move up one if some coach figures out a way where they could be really good on a certain map or situation. So that's the official tier list. Very fast, quick fire there at the end, but let me know your thoughts down below, and until next time.